Happy Wednesday, everybody. Good morning. Um, Meditation was a lot better this morning because I wasn't trying to force anything. I was letting it flow exactly the way it's supposed to, and just works better from a free-flowing space, which makes me think about the hows and whys. And I think it's important to understand that a how question is, it's a getting. It's a mental, I think if every one of us were to look at our lives, there's one area that we always struggle in. I mean, you can nail everything else across the board. Just, say it's your health. That's what you struggle with. So you got a great job. You're really good at it. You're making an impact, or just you feel good about the work that you do and the contribution that you make. And then your relationships are so loving and they're so full, and your parenting abilities, you feel good, and you just feel like you're nailing it in every area of your life except for one. So say that it's, your health. Well, I bet if you looked at your conversations about that particular area, it's always around a how. And if you look at the other areas of your life, the questions in those areas are usually answered with a why. So the how is a forcing and the why is of the heart. So if you're like, how do I get in better shape? How do I, lose the weight or tone up or eat right? Or you need to go to why. Why do I want to lose the weight? Why do I want to eat right? Why do I want to tone my body? Whatever those particular things are, because you're going to move into a heart space. So if your answer to the question, why do I want to get in shape, is because I don't feel beautiful at this size because society tells me, and a lot of women struggle with this, and I tell women all the time because it's the truth. The majority of men do not like a skinny girl. They like a tone girl and in shape girl, that kind of stuff. But even sometimes you can be too fit for a man, because there's something about a woman's essence that a little more curvy body is actually quite sexually appetizing to men. It's just in their DNA. You're hippie, and there's just something sensual about a woman's curves. Well, when you're skinny like me, you don't have any curves. Which I'm okay with now, but it was definitely something I struggled with most of my life, because everybody I dated, as well as all the women in my life, were always telling me I was too skinny. So when you get to your why, that's what you need to look at. If your why is for somebody else and is about somebody else, and you're doing it because you have to, you're never going to do it. You're always going to struggle in that area. Like, for example, last night, my person that I've been talking about, that we've been, struggling to communicate, which is pretty crazy because both of us have really, really strong human resource type skills. We really can resolve a lot of situations that are outside of this situation. So, I think the other person still struggles with the deeper stuff in every area of their life, and I only struggle with deeper stuff in this area of my life. And which brings me to what we were saying, part of the conversation last night. He opened the little door on Fort Knox, and it's like, what are you doing out here? Why are you still here? You want to talk about that kind of thing? You know what I mean? It wasn't a come running outside like oh my God, I'm so glad you're still here. Like, I thought for sure you would have left, and that's not what I want, But I love this person. I love everybody, actually. And I have a ton of patience with people and situations and stuff, because it took a lot of patience with me to make some of the breakthroughs that I made. And so my intention and my desire in life is to truly help people lead a less chaotic, restrained, doing it even though you don't want to, kind of space, you know, and just feel freedom and excitement and, you know, enjoy life. So I have a lot of patience and I have a lot of love. There's way more patience and way more love in this situation. One, because it's required, and one, because I really, really value it. So in the discussion, it came up about creating a space where I can feel comfortable being in my heart. There's something that there's an experience that this person hasn't had, so they can't comprehend. Empathy's not a strong character thing for them either. It's just not one of their character traits. Either it's something they haven't explored, or it's just something that's not natural to them. And that's true for a lot of people. Where when you have a strong empathy characteristic, it's really easy to put yourself in somebody else's shoes. And not just like, okay, say, you know, I'm trying to understand somebody's point of view and I like put myself in their situation, but I still think from my mind and feel from my feelings. It's not really putting yourself in somebody else's shoes. Genuinely putting yourself in somebody else's shoes is being in their place, in their thoughts, in their feelings, and then looking at it. So not having a strong empathetic side, it's even harder for this person to understand stuff from another person's point of view, or even realize that there is a different experience outside of themselves. When you don't have that gift of empathy, you think that the way you experience the world and the way you see the world is the way it is, and it's the way it is for everybody. And so when somebody doesn't act in that the same way that you would act, you interpret their actions based on how you would do something or how you would feel about something or all of that stuff. So I told this person, I really need a space of, I need a safe space to be in a heart space. Now I'm trying to explain to this person the difference between a mental space and a heart space, and they're completely confused. They're just like, I have no clue what you're talking about. And that doesn't make any sense to me. And it's because it hasn't been experienced. This person really believes that they're deep in their heart. You know, not that they're deep in their heart, but that they feel deep things and that they're just always in a head, that they're always in a head and a heart space where you can't be in them. It just doesn't work that way. I mean, there's a head space and there's a heart space, and they're two different spaces and they're about two different things. So, but this person was stuck in a how, and I could really feel them like, how do I do that? How do I? And, you know, there was a why that came up that kind of makes me realize that the topic I'm actually talking about today could cause some confusion for people. And one of them was like, why is it my responsibility? It's not. It's not. It's coming from a place of, I'm struggling with something and I want your help on it. And I mean, we help and support the people that we care about. So when you're coming from a how space in that type of situation, it would be like, how do I do this? How do I, you know? To where if you're in a why space, like, okay, let's say this person's why is they have to. They're never going to do it. They're not going to know how to do it, because when you know why you're doing it and it's coming from a heart space, like say this person just had like this aha moment and they were like, oh, well, the reason why I want to do it is because I love this person and I want to lift them up and I want to help them become the best version of themselves and I love them. Then the how comes. It just flows, because things flow from your heart. You don't try to figure out anything from your heart. When you're trying to figure something out, you're in your head. You're totally just in your head and nothing happens there. And I think that the reason we have that one area in our life that we always struggle with is because the universe is trying to call us into a higher purpose. It's trying to help us evolve. God, whatever you want to call it, is trying to help us evolve. And the only place the place that we need to evolve from is that place that we're still struggling with. That's the stuff we need to look at. We need to look at those deeper meanings about it and our deeper feelings about it, and get to a place of why. Why do I want to do this? Why is this important to me? And then I really, for me, the how, it just kind of answers itself. And it's never from a place of how. It's just a, oh. And then I have another Kyle Cease thing that really was like, whew, that helps. And he's got this thing where he says, I hope I screw this up. Do you know how easy that makes everything? If you enter any particular situation or whatever you're doing with, I hope that I screw this up, it's a lot easier to take your head out of it and then go into a heart space. And then from that heart space, it's just free flowing. We put so many conditions and standards and expectations and all this stuff on top of ourselves, and a lot of them are behind not failing, not looking like a fool, not making a mistake. And the mistakes and the failing and the falling is where all the magic happens. And you've probably heard it a million times, and I've heard it too before. But coming from the place Kyle Cease is coming from, like, I hope I screw this up, is a really light place. I think when you're thinking about it like, well, if I fail, it's okay, you're still focused on the failure, to where when you say, I hope I screw this up, you're like, I'm going all in. I hope I make a complete mess of it. And now you're in a free flowing space. And that helps me a lot. That helped me get on here. I mean, when I made my first video, I was like, man, I hope I screw this up. And then it just flowed free because I didn't have any preconceived notions of it or ideas or what failure is or anything else. And so it just flowed freely. So you can apply that to even the health thing that I was talking about earlier. This friend of mine, that we're struggling right now, can apply that. I hope I screw this up, But first, I think you really have to get to a place of why. And, you could find at the end of all those why questions in your health goal that you really are okay with exactly the way you feel. And that your why has always been about everybody else, and that's why you can't find your how. Because it's not something that's true for you. It's not something you feel needs to be done. And the same thing with this other person, I mean, they could very well say at the end of all of their whys that they don't want to do it. And that's okay too. But I think it's important to look at those whys, and I think it's important to take the pressure off of doing it wrong. Doing it wrong is where you find the new ways to do stuff. We just put so much importance on getting it right and doing it, instead of just experiencing it and letting it flow freely. So I hope I helped somebody today have another little aha moment, or like I had someone reach out to me yesterday and say that they had started meditating on Monday, and I was just like, woohoo! And that watching my video made her feel a little less alone in it. And so maybe I helped somebody feel a little less alone today in their meditation, or helped somebody look at an area they're struggling at in their life with a new light, so that they can get to the bottom of their whys. And that's all, folks. I love you guys. I hope you have a happy, happy hump day. And just know that we got this, and I really hope I screw it up. I love you guys. Bye.